Marianne Bachmeier became an infamous figure. It was 40-odd years ago, and this case is still remembered. A German news outlet described it as the most spectacular case of vigilante justice in German post-war history. We start the story off in Sarstedt, Germany, where Marianne was born in 1950 to strict religious parents, an alcoholic father who was a former member of the Waffen-SS, the military branch of the Nazi regime. Childhood was rough for Marianne. That living with such conservative, strict religious parents, Marianne was thrown out of the house as a teenager for getting pregnant. She later had to have the baby adopted. Marianne got pregnant again and was in no position to look after the baby, therefore had to give up her second child. At the age of 22, Marianne found herself pregnant yet again, and although she wasn't with the father, she felt ready to take on the responsibility of the new life grown inside her. Anna Bachmeier was born in November 1972. Now, growing up, Anna had a childhood that was described by Marianne's friend as a not a very pleasant family life. This was due to the fact that Anna was treated like an adult and didn't have a great deal of structure or stability. Whilst her mother worked at a restaurant bar called Tipasa in Lübeck, Anna would fall asleep as of when she got tired at the bar, and Marianne was often seen partying even while she had Anna with her. Put it this way, she wasn't always in a rush to get home and put Anna to bed. And as much as I'm painting a negative picture of Marianne's parenting skills, Marianne loved her very much. But Anna was forced to be self-reliant. It was on the 5th of May 1980. Anna, aged 7, had a disagreement with her mother, and Anna decided to skip school and go and see a friend. When she got there, she realised her friend had gone to school. That is when Anna disappeared. Now, Marianne that day was having pictures done with her car because of the unusual look of the car, so it was going in the local newspaper. When she got back, she noticed her daughter missing, and she went out and looked for her, but couldn't see her anywhere. However, Marianne thought that Anna might have been mad at her, so she was staying at a friend's house. But nobody had seen the little girl. So it wasn't until nightfall that Marianne reported Anna missing to the police. In the afternoon of the next day, a woman walked in to the local police station and told them that her fiancé, a 35-year-old butcher called Klaus Grabowski, had confessed to her about killing Anna in their home. So Grabowski was the neighbour of Marianne's, so he knew Anna as she often spoke to him. On this day he encountered Anna on the way back from her friend's house. She had asked to play with his cat. Grabowski agreed and took little Anna upstairs to the apartment where he lived with his fiancée, but she wasn't home at this time. Unfortunately, this would be the last time anyone would see Anna again, because Grabowski kept Anna in the apartment for hours, doing unspeakable things to her, before finally strangling the 7-year-old. It wasn't until Grabowski's fiancée returned home that he had confessed to her what he had done. The fiancée went straight to the police. Grabowski had taken the child's body in a cardboard box and buried her in a shallow grave on the banks of a canal nearby. When the fiancé returned with the police, Grabowski wasn't there, but he had left a note pleading with his fiancée not to turn him in, not to turn her back on him, and that he would meet her at the local bar, Zolln, so they could talk. Police were already prepared and waiting for him at Zolln when he finally turned up, and that's when he was arrested. As it turned out, Grabowski was a convicted child molester, and even charged with attempted murder, and unbelievably given probation. In 1975, he was charged with sexual abuse of 2 young girls. A psychological report that was read out in court basically said that the board is undoubtedly certain that the abnormal sexual instinct of the accused is addictive. The accused was aware of the unauthorized activity, but he was considerably limited in his ability to prevent it because of his addiction to the offence. Klaus Grabowski was sentenced to spend time in a psychological facility in 1976. Part of his rehabilitation was chemical castration, where offenders are treated with stilbestal, which lowers testosterone. The chemical castration is reversible, which is what Grabowski did a couple years later. He actually went under no other psychological evaluations after that. After he had left the institution, he was free. So going back to the murder of Anna, Grabowski tried to convince authorities that the reason he killed Anna was because she threatened to tell her mum that he molested her and that she was trying to blackmail him for money. For Marianne to hear this man speak in such a way about her innocent child just created even more hurt and anger on top of losing Anna due to this monster. The trial took place a year later, and Grabowski's defence lawyers were to use the excuse that the change in behaviour was purely out of hormonal imbalance due to the castration. They seemingly forgot why he actually had to have the castration in the first place, and that was because he was a child molester. Clearly, by the third day of the trial, held in Lubeck District Court, everything took its toll on Marianne, and she reached into her bag and pulled out a .22 caliber Beretta pistol and shot 8 times at Grabowski, 6 of which shot him right in the back, killing him in the courtroom. In 1983, unfortunately, Marianne faced trial herself for the murder. Marianne had been examined by a doctor and was asked at one point to give a handwriting sample. She wrote, "I did it for you, Anna." Marianne was convicted of premeditated manslaughter and sentenced to 6 years in prison, which a lot of people in Germany thought was far too harsh. Marianne was released in 1985, serving less than half the sentence. In 1996, Marianne died of pancreatic cancer and was buried next to her young daughter Anna.